Well, it is a cold morning, and in case you're coming to town, carry a cardigan, an umbrella, something that is going to keep you warm and, of course, enable you move despite the rainfall, because business will not stop and your clients will still strive and seek your services. But before we go any further into this segment of our program, let's first again look at some of the messages in response to our poll question this morning that was seeking your views on government phasing out of certificate and Diploma 5 teaching training centers for the teachers in this country. Well, we have one. Please, it is important for your name to come along with us. The National Youth Empowerment Fund application, that is, okay, this one looks at more away from the topic. We have a comment on bail. Bail does not mean case is over. Okay. As we root for degree for primary school and teachers, we need to amplify payment to match the qualifications. Let's not put degrees to teachers only. We need to stem the qualification to each sector like Parliament and be put on masters. Let each sector be attached to qualifications. Sergeant Bernard, okay, he says every sector should be put to this. We can't leave teachers at primary. Primary teachers have degrees, yet Parliament, you have a person, the minimum qualification is Senior 6. Well, Felix, that is an interesting one.
Yeah, well, of course. But these are all serve different audiences and probably purposes. When you talk about politics, vis-a-vis professionalism, it's not a requirement for a politician to be a professional, yet it's a requirement for a teacher to be a profession. It's as simple as.
Very interesting there. Professional work and of course politics all differ. But today we want to look at the East African community. This is something that we all believe that with a huge population as a region, if we work together, we integrate very well, then there are enormous opportunities. The recent problem we've seen facing this integration, the building of this community, is fulfilling positions at the Secretariat, where they had to suspend the recruitment exercise after Uganda said, well, there is some injustice. When we look at the position of the clerk and deputy clerk, they strongly believe that Uganda's candidate was the best. But all did not go well as that. We saw even that is the Minister for East African Affairs and also First Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, writing to halt, that is the recruitment exercise. Burundi also joined in, South Sudan also joined in, saying no, something has to be done. And there we later saw that the recruitment exercise was suspended to factor in these views. But of course, we've also seen a couple of challenges facing this body in terms of work. Now, when we see the work at the Secretariat being crippled for some time because of absence of a fully fledged Secretariat, when the work to fill these vacancies comes in, we've seen issues of countries as member states saying, no, there should be a fair portion of how we share work here and jobs here, rather than just saying that maybe one country is seemingly benefiting. This seems also to come in with other challenges where we still have a country closing a border to the other. Recently, we saw the issue of fish, where we had fish impounded that was destined for Kenya, and it is alleged that this fish was coming from Congo, whereas the authorities in Kenya are saying, authorities in Uganda said this is fish from Uganda. These are Ugandans that are getting fish in Uganda that is illegal, then they head it to Congo, then later transfer it to Kenya. But Kenyan government says no, these are goods in transit. So there are some of the things that we really want to focus on later on. But briefly, Felix, for a moment or two regarding the East African community, with all these hullaballoos, where do we see the future of this great regional body?
Robert calls them hullabaloos, and clearly it is the evidence of a growing child. Yeah, when you have an association, integration that has countries that are still young in terms of independence, in terms of civil order, you know, these things will happen. these things would happen. But the beauty of it all is that we have the right people in the right offices to create sanity. If you saw the statements of the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga in relation to this, and what's being put to table is a discussion of facts. It's a discussion of facts. It's not even just about stamping chests, but it's a factual discussion, and we know as a matter of fact that justice should be done, if I may call it that way. The East African community has so much to do. In fact, it is late. It is delivering late. It's so late. So it had better put itself in order.
Indeed, it's better put itself in order. But of course, this is the discussion that we shall continue later on. Let's just have a break.
I smile when I think of you, Uganda, my home. My home, I dance when I look at you, Uganda, my home. Oh, my Uganda.
I know, with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home, under the sun so bright, under the moon at night, on my heart, mommy, oh my Uganda.
Hey, mama.
My Uganda.
Oh,
My Uganda.
oh,
My Uganda. My Uganda. Nikukunda. My Uganda. Amari alemira. My Uganda.
nyowe nikugonza.
My Uganda.
Amina ngojo, amina ngojo.
My Uganda.
At MTN, we look forward to starting another exciting journey together to grow our home, Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
It is time once again that we look at issues of national concern, and away from the East African community, we'll now venture into politics of this nation, and we want to look at the politics of Uganda after elections, the post-election politics of the opposition in our country, with whom I'm going to be discussing this with the third, that is Deputy President of the new pressure group, that is People's Front for Transformation, Samuel Lubega Walter Mukaku. He's a man who has been around on the political scene, once a presidential candidate. He has contested for MP seat for some time, and also now a renowned politician. Walter Lubega Mukaku.
Sir,
It is very interesting having you this morning.
I'm very privileged to be hosted by you, Mr. Chirabo, and also given an opportunity by the airwaves of the nation, UBC. I would like to salute all of you in the interest of time.
Well, after that, that brings us to our topic this morning, which is the post-election opposition politics of this country, where we went into an election, we had a winner, and that could have been seen as history. But now what is happening is, what is the future of the opposition? Where about 2 weeks back, we saw the formation of a pressure group that is named as People's Front for Transformation, where Samuel Lubega Mukaku is among the people in leadership of this pressure group. Walter, we had an election, it was done, and seemingly people thought maybe some politics to that magnitude. We didn't see a coalition, we saw a pressure group that was people power, of which we are also, it is, I would say, one of your brainchild, because we are so much into people power as well, a pressure group that later transformed into the National Unity Platform. And now here we are seeing Amokaku again coming with Dr. Kiza Besigye, the likes of Mike Mabike, Ken Luchamuzi, and here you're bringing another pressure group. What is the aim of this pressure group at such a time?
First of all, I would like to correct the notion that what is the future of the opposition? No, it's about the future of the country. And as we approach last general elections, and through that general elections, we had 3 fraternities that had emerged in the country. One of the fraternities was the fraternity that we need no change, and we must maintain the status quo. And the other side of the aisle, we had 2 fraternities. Fraternity number 1, that much as there is an outcry of misrule, misrule that probably is unprecedented in this area, dictatorship, and abuse of human dignity, human rights and freedoms, and the sheer collapse of the economy, and apartheid in the social provision. There were people who thought, as long as the people of Uganda have been crying out for help, but I think elections cannot help. Then there were those of us who thought we could still, in the interest of not going back to what we had, we could still use the wind of the election to cause change. And that's how we created the reunions from my I would say the organization that I founded has groomed many politicians, even those in the NRM like Namayan and the rest. That was the UID clarion call. And then we had the reunions, which now brought to fruition what we called political party blocks, and one of them was the DP that had 4 entities, and the fraternity of those who believe in truth and justice. And then that also gave birth to the founding of the People Power coalition, or call it a movement, or you have called it a pressure group, that we could appeal to the power of the people as enshrined in the Constitution, to make sure that everyone now focuses on using his or her vote, given the circumstances, no matter what it was, to really change government, to really change the situation, to really give Uganda a future. And we committed totally. As you remember, I used to come here and used to push me on the wall. Do you think those people are actually for you? Are you for them? And I said, I'm still for them. So that was the People Power, which later on gave birth to one of our great sons now, Noop. I am People Power, as I've always said. I'm not Noop now, as you know. I am DP who does not follow the internal dictatorships of
so who are you politically? What is your political identity?
Norbert Mao. I've just defined myself.
You don't succumb to a political
I'm just
party.
telling you, I am a Ugandan.
Once I knew you were from this social SDP, something like that.
I'm just telling you, I am a Ugandan,
yes,
who does not believe in the current dictatorship. Now, you are not going to ask me, who are you? Are you Kenyan or are you Tanzanian? I am a DP who does not subscribe, and a member of the DP bloc who does not subscribe to the dictatorship and dissidency of Norbert Mao. So that's me.
And you're a disgruntled politician.
That's me. Disgruntled in which way? Can you be happy with the dictatorship? Can you be happy with misrule? Can you be happy with abuse of your dignity? Nobody can. That's why you create these democratic institutions to ensure that such dictatorship and tendencies do not thrive in our society. But unfortunately, they are. Even after fighting a long war where we lost almost a million people, people came and said, this is not just a mere change of guards, it's a fundamental change. Okay, how fundamental was it from that? So today, the pain this country is going through, the crisis at hand, you know how people now are beaten up.
Okay, Lukaku, just get into the to narrow down into the discussion of today, which is the formation of this new pressure group. One would think maybe you've woken up.
It's not actually. It's not a pressure group.
What is it?
It is a front.
Okay, looking at this front, one would think you've woken up.
We choose this.
One would think you've woken up long before the enemy passed, because maybe this is something we would have done before elections. Why now? What is its relevance at such a time?
I've just told you that 3 fraternities emerged. One of them was saying, we do not need to change the status quo. And that is led by Mr. Museveni. Then there was another one which believed that we could use the ballot to change the status quo. There was another fraternity which believed that we need to change the status quo, but elections are meaningless. That's the people's government. And it had a fraternity of institutions and individuals.
So is this the People's Front for Transformation a rebrand of the People's Government?
Not a rebrand. It's about coming to the realization, if you remember, that when my young brother Robert Chagulanyi now became the apparent leader of the People Power, which gave birth to NUP, he said he believed, like I did, that we could do something, and he said, please give me the space such that I can push this one through. Mubikwase Chagulanyi. And eventually, after the elections, whatever happened, we all know during elections how he was arrested, how people were beaten up, how a whole campaign team was almost incarcerated. He said, and he made this statement, I think now elections are useless in this country. Going back to what Honorable Semo Gerere, what Kiza Besigye, and many others, those of us who are...
Now, let's also understand, what is your modus of operandi going to be? Because, you know, constitutionally...
before we go there, and people said, go to court. That was Chagulanyi. And Chagulanyi said, I don't want to go to court. I think it will be the same thing. He still went to court. And he came out saying, I've done what I could in my own capacity as a young man and as a young leader and as a young formation. Elections are useless. They cannot help us. Courts are captured. I think now I return, I give back the struggle to the People's Court. And it is 10 months now that we had to, the country has to do something about it, now that even the leader of opposition is telling you the People's Court has got to be organized. We've got to talk to each other. We've got to appeal to the power of organization, to appeal to the power of leaders.
Let's better understand this People's Front. One would wonder, actually many are seeing it as maybe diversionary to the National Unity Platform or causing more divisions within the opposition.
Why are you not talking about diversion to government? Why are you not saying diversion to the direction the country has taken?
No, because so I'm looking at fellow political parties in the opposition. Democratic Party came out very clearly and said whoever is part of this front, like you want to call it, is not representing us as a political party. They're there as individuals. National Unity Platform said the same and said we cannot even be part of this. Let each of us take their own front. We are all targeting the same direction. Even right from your colleagues in the opposition, this is not a soft landing. There isn't a soft landing for you, neither a welcome.
Could you not be misrepresenting some of them now? What are they saying? They're saying the front, all the agenda of the front is all right. And some of those whom you have mentioned, but they said, we're still watching to see. And this is not a crime. Not everyone must be on board at a certain time T. But we hope that some of them will understand, because the cause of the front is that pain the people are going through. Are the Segrinyas who are about to lose their legs? Are the borders, okay, who are beaten day and night? Are those people who have disappeared and nowhere to be seen? Are those who have been incarcerated?
The lamentations, Lukaku, you're making.
Lost the job. Not lamentations.
Because, wait, these are things we've seen over and had over. And there is nothing new you're telling Ugandans of late. So what we want to know, What new thing are you bringing on board?
Don't even trivialize this. And I want to say
what
this.
Is new?
Do not even trivialize
this. This is what the Ugandans
What
want
is
to know.
new? Segrinya now is incarcerated and is about to lose his leg. What is new? People are being beaten up to every day. Every day, people are being beaten up. What is new is that people are disappearing, that the drones are taking away people, that human rights are being abused left and right. It has not stopped. We must stop the carnage. And if it is about stopping the carnage, not only of people, but also businesses and our jobs and our livelihoods, that's the crisis. And what is new is that institutions, pressure groups, parties, coalitions.
So let's see how this is going to be an answer.
And the blocks have got to get together like they did when they wanted to remove Idi Amin. You remember in Mosh? Everyone came on board, including neighboring countries and foreign countries, because they had a stake in what was happening here. And they created what we call the Uganda National Liberation Front. Individuals joined, fighting groups joined, political parties, DP, UPC joined, even groups within parties. UPC had about 50, UPC house girls, UPC house boys, they all collected in Moshi. The idea was, as wherever we are, in our own hearts, there is a fire that is bound to decimate all of us. We must fight it together. And this is the clarion call of the platform of the People's Front for Transition. This is the clarion call of the Red Card Front, who now regularized as the Red Card Front. The symbol of the Red Card. If you are tyrannizing people, if you are the one promoting dictatorship, you should receive a red card, because this country deserves better. It is a small thing, visible, but representing a huge aspect that is in the invisibility. And this is the reason why we have the front. So NUP, DP, SDP, FDC, People's Government, the remains of people power, and all the other institutions and civil society who are beaten up today, and individuals, whether they are trade groups, informal and formal, are the ones whose cause is the front. So I'm here just to call upon anybody, whether you're a member of parliament, you know what is happening. Even parliament today cannot say it's wrong.
Mukaku well said that this is something that's going to bring together people from various sectors. When you look at the political terrain...
Not going, but has started bringing together. Okay. And the momentum is building.
Okay, momentum is building.
You remember when we were building the people power front and the reunion, people said, I think you have gone to Makere, but the results are there for everyone to see.
Because now here, Mukak, we are looking at, that is the post-election opposition politics, where we've seen that, different political parties have their methodologies. We know there are those that believe in brain power, reasoning and dialogue. We know there are those who believe in defiance. We know there are those that look at more of the power of the youth. For you, you seem to be a unifier of all these groups. But do you think you're going to get a breakthrough, more so that now even the elections, which is a 5-year activity that creates pressure within people and yearning to get some political change? Do you think the timing is right?
Comrade Chirabo, fighting apartheid in South Africa took 100 years. Some people took almost 3 decades in jail, others on the front fighting. We also joined in, you remember the Bali contingent of South Africa as a frontline country. Fighting for independence, fighting against colonialists here in Uganda took several decades, almost 6 of them. It was not until the 1960s that it almost crystallized in something, and the wave was taking the colonialists out of this country. The Kamias, you remember the number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number Munana, number you know that? The Kamias and the Musazis. And until that time, when the colonialists felt the pressure, and they had the Lancaster Conference, which was hurried through, but to ensure that these Ugandans got the freedom, the justice, fairness in trade, and also self-rule and self-governance. The other one I have talked about of removing Idi Amin. It took many years. People came and failed in Mutukula. You remember 1972, and many other attempts. People like the Archbishop died. But at the end of the day, everyone realized a dictatorship could not be easily removed. Israel gave the Sabasaba. Tanzania and the Niamey, they gave the money, they gave the boots and the covering cover. Then come to Museveni. When we got the road deal.
Yes.
When the road deal. After Nairobi peace talks, everyone realized, Kaira, you've been fighting. You were in Kisisita, you were in Kampala. Who is this man? Fedem Nkwanga's group and the Ndugute's group, Kalisoli's. They were fighting in our area. Museveni was fighting and they captured big swath. The small and big, even the man of West Nile Bank, Moses Ali.
Timing factor here.
The small and big coalition created a front. Even the same organizations that had refused to join and join parliament, they eventually joined that Nabingo. So this is always the same thing. We cannot say because we tried last time and failed, we did this and failed. No. Asiko bulamu tasa mukono. The cause for life is a cause until when you either lose your life or you depose.
Finally, Mukaku, in the interest of time, for political parties, usually it is clear, maybe you are going into an election, they are going to mobilize, they are going to go to grassroots. What is going to be your method of operating in this pressure group? You're not a political party, and how are you going to ensure you cause the change you're desiring?
First and foremost is to call on board those who are suffering, to ensure, to know the crisis we are in and take on the challenge. I have used the local adage in Kovazambogo, zejazo kambonya. Okay? Asiko bulamu tasa mukono. I don't know how to put it. You can help me. But the most important that nobody is going to help us unless we help ourselves. Then later on, they can come to our rescue by giving us support like it was in the past. The second thing is to make sure that everyone understands the deep crisis this country is in. And this is the phase we have announced of 21 days engaging, talking to everyone, even under the COVID circumstances, passing on the message and giving out the red card and the whistle, because these are symbolic. And after that, we are now going to engage in thematic operations. Operations against the agents of tyranny, the dictator, against the agents of misrule, the agents of human rights abuse, and the agents that are collapsing and corrupting our economy. Okay. So we are going to take this one on as we bring on board more, those in government. There are those in NRM who feel they are trapped in there. There are those in parliament who feel they should be released and who they should be helped. There are those in the courts of judicial courts of law.
So it's all inclusive.
It's all going to be inclusive. The teachers, those children that have not received education for 2 years. I'm telling you, this is going to be a real banter. And we have got to take on the dictatorship, whether it wants or not.
Well, I want to thank you, Samuel Walter Rubega Mukaku, a seasoned politician, third in the rankings of the People's Front for Transformation, a new pressure group. He refers to as a front that now is believing to shape, they hope, the politics of the opposition in this country. All we pray and ask for is that whatever we do is within the confines of the law and we put Uganda first.
Indeed.
Well, I'll leave you with Ruben Pima. Kasera Chibila will take you through the world of sports. Till tomorrow, have a lovely day.